So guys, for today we are putting the exterior on our hub area here. Now, the people who just kind of want to see what this looks like, you can see it a little bit, but I'll put a timestamp at the end where I'll show it off a little bit more. But those who are interested in sticking around and seeing a little bit more detail to the building, um, just hang out a second. We'll get to that. I just wanted to note at the top here that a couple things. One that you can see I'm doing the videos a little differently, but also two that I built these towers a little bit differently. I changed my mind after the fact. So this is what they look like now, but you'll see them a little different. And then three is a little warning that I just start talking, it's a little ranty. I wouldn't say ranty, like, but I start talking about the starting zone, so if you're interested to hang out, thank you, and see you in a minute. Okay, so it's time to put this exterior on. So, what I'm thinking, I want to do it, no. Well, first and foremost, so that I'm able to move around, what we're going to do, a little something like this. There, go to there. See if this is enough to encapsulate the whole area, but if not, we'll think of something else. So over to here. Over to here. What would be nice too is if I ever for whatever reason need power over here, I'll have it. Should I sneak it in here? Yeah, sneak it right there. And that one will actually go. Should have, looks like that. So none of these have power if I need to use them for something. So let's check. Alright, that's something I need to address, is that it doesn't show you the... Maybe if I do this. It's not showing me the power indicator. Okay. There we go. So let me see how much room we got over here. Not much. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just run a wire out for argument's sake. So the plan, as you saw, was we're going to put legs in for these corners, the diagonal ones. So that means, give me this, I'm going to put this right here, so I can fly around. So we're just going to cover the ones, whoa, 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 whoa. That was weird. No. So I'm still used to equipping it rather than holstering stuff. Power over here. I don't know why I lost power there. Okay. So, bring up the walls. I think we're going to use basic steel. Zoop it across here. So I'm just going to do this section. And then, what you call it? I'll finish the rest off camera. There. That there, right? Okay. That's something to keep in mind. Okay. Full start. What we're gonna do, get rid of all this, because I forgot that this isn't, like, lined up right. Because of the way it has to be. So, this is that's the middle. So we'll go to here. We'll have 3 on each side. And the 4th will go base off. Yeah. So this side's not getting a window because there's nothing to see behind it. You know, it's just all splitters. That one. That one. See, I like the walls being off, or the windows being off the ground a little bit. That's why I do this. I think as far as windows go, which ones do I like? Open ones. I think this would fit the aesthetic, but then I'm an idiot, because then I don't need this little raised area from using these. Yeah, we're using these. Oh, this is going to be a whole bunch of trial and error. That's building in this game, unfortunately. Okay. Still center? No, this is the center. Remember, the electric's on the center. Okay. So 3. 3. So I have that train there. He's working on cleaning out the old hub. It's actually almost done. But yeah, so I got most of my supplies here, which is nice. The next thing will be to start getting the other sounds alike. But it's going to be setting some factories up so that the extra goes into like an overflow. Wow, that worked. That looks good. Now you may be wondering why. Well, actually, no. Why I haven't put this here. I want to try something a little different. I need 1 meter. Meter square, or what I'm gonna do. See if I can't do it on here. There's one place on the edge. That's so weird. Okay. Whatever. Nope. This one. Nope. I don't know how to get around that though. So we're gonna go organization. one. I don't like that it's off a little bit. So now we need two of these two. It's gonna be so weird how I have to do this. There. How much is that sticking out? I don't like how that's sticking out though. So what I was gonna do, it's usually those kind of like lights, but let's figure this out. Now if I go, actually I know how I can do this. Architecture, painted beam. Go across here. It won't stay orange. I'm gonna change the color, but okay. So that's there. And for the top, we're gonna go. So I've been thinking too. So it's not just me sitting here quietly. So I've been seeing on Reddit a lot. There's been kind of a discussion about the grassy plains and whether it's a good starting area or not. And it seems like essentially there's two schools of thoughts. One is it's not, because it teaches you to play the game in a way that people would expect then there always to be abundant resources close by. And then there's a school of thought that it is because it's like you know, it gives you an easy area to start with. So my thoughts on that, I think it is a good area. Actually, I think both are technically right. Yes, I think it's a good area, but no, I don't think it teaches you how to play. It doesn't effectively teach you how to play the game good to where I am. That being said, where I am is like, I don't think you should go into the game knowing how to play it, how to do endgame, like build endgame factories and like optimize everything. And I'd say this very much is a game that you should go into. I don't think necessarily blind, but you don't need to go in knowing everything. And I feel like half the fun is. I think I'm going to switch these over just so it's a consistent look on the outside. Let me see. Yeah, that looks better. But I think that's part of the fun of this game is learning, honestly, learning your mistakes. Like, I will always, what cemented this game as like one of my favorite games, which obviously hearing it you won't get the same experience, but what cemented this as one of my favorite games is my realization that, again, this will kind of ruin it for people who haven't played this or don't. But the realization to me that when I have supplies, so say we're gonna work on the legs now. These are gonna be, so say I built my iron factory, and I have supplies that I'm not using. Let's see what 3x3 looks like. That's gonna hurt. But so when I built the iron factory, like in the early game, I built a factory and it's making iron rods. The way I used to do it is I'd have dedicated lines, so that I think 3x3 is a good size. So I'd have dedicated lines so that sorry, I'm having a hard time saying this. That only like the iron coming out would only go towards iron rod production, and then like I had so I had iron rods coming directly from iron that's being smelted for iron rods, and then that would get backed up, and then that would sit idle. And then when I was building iron plates, I'd have to go find more iron veins, and then god damn it, I had to find more iron veins, and then make miners and refineries for that. And then, whatever resource I was making at the time, I'd have to wait. Say I'm waiting on iron plates, but I have all this iron that the iron rods aren't using. The realization that, oh, I can make it so that the overflow from the iron rods goes into iron plates, and then it'll kind of balance itself out. Where is that a good height? Oh, I want a little bit higher. 4 high. Whatever, that's good. So that realization that I should use my extra. This isn't going to stay a rectangle, by the way. The realization that I should use my extra iron to go towards iron plates. So what does that mean? It's basically that I shouldn't have all my overflow should be going towards something rather than just sitting there as overflow and having idle anything. Now, most people I feel, would be like, yeah, that's kind of okay. That's an obvious kind of thing. But the realization for me, when I came to that realization, like, that fundamentally shifted how I played this. We're just going to put some shape into this now. And I think, like I said, that realization, for me at least, was kind of the thing that made me think that this is one of my favorite games. And that's something that, yes, easily, you can look up and know that going into this. But then I think that kind of defeats the purpose. Like, it's so easy to know going into this, oh, if you have extra resources, you should put them towards other factories. But the fact that I had to figure that out on my own, that's what, to me, makes this such a good game. And like I said, it's that realization, and then, yes, that meant I had to go through and fundamentally redesign all of my factories, but I feel like that's the point. I mentioned this multiple times, that this game doesn't punish you for that. Like, you don't lose You know, you don't lose resources when you just figuring out how to make this top look. You don't lose resources when you rebuild stuff, so it encourages you to do that. And that happened to me multiple times. You know, that's the most prominent example, but you know, all the small realizations you have along the way, it's like that's what I feel is the game. Not going into it knowing, okay, I know the optimal way to make everything. I hope this makes sense and isn't just me rambling. I mean, it is me rambling, but I hope it's a sensical ramble. And that's a great name for a band. Sensical Ramble. But so, to get back to the argument then, is the is the grassy plains a good starting area? Yes and no. Yes, as it serves as a good introduction to the game. No, it doesn't serve as a good introduction to the late game. But I think that's the balance, you know, that's the balance of this game is, do you set people up so that they can just build factories like I'm building? I think that's kind of a daunting, this isn't even. I don't think it's even. Let's see. No, it's not even. This has to go up another one. But I like that, like I said, that you come into it, you know, it's all about figuring out the better way to do it. And I've had so many of those realizations, like, oh, the way I'm doing this is actually, like, not good. Like I said, a lot of that I could, you know, can easily go online and people be like, yeah, don't do this, it's a pitfall. But that's, you know, that's part of the game, is learning, like, what's good and what's not. I think the grassy plain serves as a good, it's a good basic introduction. It gets you to, you know, seems to be like another key point, is like it gets you to the point where you get to plastic halfway decently, or oil refinement, but then it's like you have to, when you get to that point, then you have to switch the way you're thinking. And to that I feel like, yeah. And that's when you come to the realization that, yes, what I've been doing has been working so far, but it's not going to work long term. And I feel like people think that you should go into this game like knowing that, like, oh, I shouldn't have to learn to change my playstyle, like, you know, how many hours in. And no, I don't think that's the way this is made. Like, I think the point of this is that, you know, each time you play it, it's like, it's almost like a Banished, or like almost like a city or colony sim type game. I say Banished because I previously played that on the channel, but like, it's not about coming in the first time you play it, making the best, you know, best town, everyone lives forever, and and you know, your town prospers to the point that the game can't handle how many people you have, and that's not like, you know, I feel like if you come to the game expecting that, that I think is the only true way to play it wrong. Okay. Keep losing power. Yeah. So, what does that all equate to? Well, first it equates to, if you listen to me talk for this long, thank you. But it also equates to, what I'm saying is, don't come into this expecting to make the best thing ever that is 100% efficient off, you know, day one, 100% efficiency, best factories, best everything. I think it's, you come into it saying, I'm going to try this. Let's see if this will work. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you know, you spend, you spend 20 hours building something only to realize in practice it doesn't, like, it's not sustainable. Yeah. So that's gonna be, I think we do like red. But yeah, so that's, and I think that's the game, is you learn what works, and you learn that what you learn what what doesn't work through trial and error. It's not a I don't know, I feel like solved games kind of, you go into a game that's solved, you're like, the fun becomes if it's difficult. And difficult is not, I don't see as the point of this game. No, it kind of makes me think of steel beams. This is the nice thing about building here, is all my resources right here. But it kind of makes me think of World of Warcraft a little bit, for people who play those kind of games. And ooh, I like the way that's gonna look. Ooh, that's gonna look good. But the reason why it reminds me of that is because it's gonna be long. It's gonna be a long ramble, but the reason it reminds me of that is because like, those games come in, like, when they release new raids, they tell you how to beat the bosses. And yes, that makes it so you can progress faster, but I don't know, I don't see people. Some of my, to change it, to say it a different way, some of my favorite memories, oh god. So there's this bug, which I gotta report. Where if you jetpacking up and you open the menu, your jetpack just continuously goes up. Let's real quick, back to World of Warcraft. Well, this freezes and saves. Some of my favorite memories with that is struggling through raids and trying to raids or dungeons and trying to figure out how to beat it. Like, now I figure you just bring up the raid or the dungeon manual and it just tells you how to do it. But the fun that you get from a group of you who don't know what they're doing, figuring out and beating a boss, like, I don't know, I feel like that's lost. So we're going to change this up a little bit. So I do like the way this looks. I don't like how thick it is. So what we're going to do... going to. Yeah. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on the whole. Is the grassy plains a good starting zone? Yes and no. Yes, it teaches you how to play the game. No, it doesn't prepare you for endgame, which I don't think it has to. That's for, once you get to endgame, that's for you to figure out how to be good at it. I think a good starting zone gets you works as an introductory, and I think the grassy plains works as a good introductory. But it doesn't, not in the sense that it teaches you how to make plant for factories like this, but in the sense that it gets you so you understand like the basics of supply lines and logistics and all that kind of fun jazz that you'll be tearing your hair out and spending hours trying to make better. So that's my 2 cents on it. So this is going to be, yeah, it's going to be narrow up there. This fall. So that's kind of how it's going to look. So, and I'm changing the recording style, so you should have seen how the finished thing will look in the beginning. But yeah, so I got to finish this. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna mirror this and enclose it and put some detailing on it. I just don't want to make. Yeah, I don't feel like making this like 10 hours. But so I'll see you in a second to show you the finished products or finished buildings. All right, so now we're done. We're coming from this other tower. I'm a little bit higher because this is actually a radio tower I'm standing on. I just built this, so I actually don't know what it looks like compared to the lookout towers. But if it looks better, I may switch them over. But let's jump down with our jetpack here. Let's see. Ooh, I do like that better. I think I'm going to switch these lookout towers over to the radio towers. Now, I know you only need one for an area, but it would just be more for looks. But this is what the complete area looks out outside. Oh, like out bleh. This is what the completed towers look like. So I know in the video I kind of put like a hook on the end, but I like the way this radio tower looks on the top of it actually. And then I also put lights all in here, so even if it gets dark, you can still see. I'm gonna, try not to record at night, or at night in game because it's so hard to see. The other thing too is on these little overhangs. I don't know how to enclose this without making it look weird. We have the come down here. You can see it's the same thing on the bottom. So just kind of at this point for aesthetics, I think it looks better like this than having them overlap. But yeah, no, I really like the way this came out. Like I said, I'm definitely going to switch over to radio towers for all 4 of these, even though it's unnecessary. Get a little closer for power. But yeah. Oh, you can see it now with all the lights on too. I like the way these towers too look in here. Let's go a little ways out. We're going to switch jetpacks here. A nice exterior view here. It's good too that I built that steel beam factory. But yeah, that's what it looks like at night. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be radio towers. Ow. But yeah, it came out good. I like the way it looks. There's a little I gotta reroute that one rail a little bit. It clips through. But yeah, no, this came out good. Get out of the gas here. Oh, ow, ran out of fuel. Let's go back up. One last thing to show off. Now we can show you some of the... show you a couple things. First is to show off how crazy lagging it is. Up on the second floor here. In each of these legs I plan on putting some like little factories that kind of just convert stuff that it's not worth building big ones for. So like this one's for like the leaves and wood and stuff I got to make biofuel. The other thing to show off is I started a new to-do list here. So we're just gonna do it little by little. I'm not gonna fill in the entire thing right now. But so this is what we're starting with. Next is the iron plate factory. I'm starting to build it. I have the old ones gone. But the way we're gonna do it is to explain it real fast. Heavy modular frames need modular frames, screws, encased, and steel pipe. So we're gonna go each of these that need components. Go to the base level, so iron plate. We're using the iron and plastic one. The plastic factory's fine for now. But like this one, we're using iron and rubber, or plates and rubber. And then say this one, I don't know, just for argument's sake, uses copper wire, or wire. I don't think it does, but argument's sake. Then at that point too, we would do the wire factory. But we're gonna go step by step. So we'll do iron plate, rod, screw. Then we'll see where we're at that point. But yeah, so that is our new big hub. If anyone has a good name for it, I just have it named as Hub 2.0, but any nice names would be appreciated. But I'll leave it at that thought, so I will see everyone later.